is not the world's best, picture, but oops, it'll have to do. I'm live. Hi, everyone. This is the father who's a banker who is summoned by his daughter who is not inside the burning Les Constellations in Montana, Switzerland. But he helped many, and he talks about some pretty interesting things. And after this, I'll see who's in chat. And the other live, it was okay, but the ending for a good 7-8 minutes, I tried to pull this up in English, and I couldn't. I couldn't with subtitles, captions, nothing. So this afternoon, I forwarded this to my messenger, and I'm really glad. So here we go. This is by the La Vanguardia newspaper did this. And the copyright disclaimer is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Okay, here we go. Oh, darn it.
For getting ourselves in, pulling bodies out by their arms, hands, etc. And you couldn't see. The problem is that you couldn't see. So we went, feeling around, feeling what we could. And of course, you can imagine feeling around well-burned bodies. And so the feeling was very strong. Well, at the time, you don't think about it. The motivation is that of a father. Basically, it's this. When we couldn't go in anymore and we couldn't find any more people, we pulled out like 5 people, I think, no more. Well, I went back, and I saw that the flagmen had arrived. They were specifically shocked. They were in a state of shock and paralyzed. Specifically, with their arms down and looking at each other. I've seen many fires. I've seen them do it. I've seen many firefighters perform. I've seen them put on their masks, their gas masks, and their air conditioning cylinders. It took me a long time. It can't be. These firefighters aren't professionals and they couldn't have done it better. I thought the first idea was in a place like this, with all these people who are being rescued in this place. There has to be an emergency exit, and it makes sense that it should be behind it. So I looked for a corridor. I saw that there was a corridor that went behind, like a covered corridor inside the building. I went in, and all the way to the end where I found a door. When I saw that there were people behind it, and you could see it. Yes, you could see it because it was made of glass, and that this door didn't open. It moved a lot. And people who were asking to leave were making movements. I don't mean to criticize them. They were making movements, and it was like one on top of the other. It was like one on top of the other, pressed against the door. So I came back. I thought I needed a crowbar or something to break the door. I went back to the fire truck. I asked for an accident mask because I was already getting intoxicated. And I said, give me a mask, a gas mask or an oxygen mask. We then thought, no, we lack that. See, the sense doesn't exist for you. And he said, I'm coming with you. I started running back to the door, and he kept walking, which I understand is normal for people not to run, but oh well. I got to the door first, and it took a while to get there, and I kept pulling on his door, and when he saw that I was pulling on it, he didn't know that this door belonged to the premises. He said to me, we'll take care of it. And he turned around and went back. From there, I haven't seen him again all night. So at that moment, what I was saying was that a guy appeared. I don't know if he opened it because there was one of those sliding doors, like in a store, right? Like a supermarket made of glass. I think he opened it. I don't know why. I didn't realize it. I didn't check if it was closed, and then it opened. But this guy appeared. I said, "Help me." We put our feet on the display case and pulled hard, and between the two of us, we forced it open. So it's, and that's when these bodies fell. We started throwing them 2, 3, 5, and then we distributed them in that small area behind that hallway. And that's when we couldn't see anyone else inside. And so we thought, now we have to transport them, right? First, we selected them, that is, we saw they were alive. That is, by touching them, talking to them, and even encouraging them a little, because they were already losing consciousness. But what I can confirm without the slightest doubt is that at no time in that area that the fire captain already knew did we see any firefighters. They insisted on entering through the door from which they took all the bodies out later. In the end, I mean, the door that was opened when there was, well, the fire that someone started, the sliding door on the right side, they entered through there, but the part they knew because I had indicated where there was a possibility of entering. Afterwards, upon further consideration, I realized that the man probably hesitated to open the door because of the risk of the flames returning. But with people dying, it was absolutely imperative that you took some action. Imagine in temperatures of -11 degrees, these organs, these guys have collapsed one after the other. I mean, the kidneys, everything. So, and this is because we didn't have a closed tent with a normal temperature. Stretchers, there were no stretchers. What I mean is, we improvised using barges and even stretchers to transport the people. I think the first 2 hours there were people alive, and the last hour, the third hour, they were all dead, taken out of the rat hole down there. And so, well, the firefighters thought, well, we need water, right? We need to cool the place down. And so they looked for the hydrant, and it's on the street, and the hydrant is on the ground. Just redid the entire street, and we're unable to break up, let's say, what's it called? The asphalt. The asphalt to get it out to open the hydrant. They were chipping away for like 20 minutes. Therefore, it is evidence of a lack of safety system controls. But unfortunately, I can't accept it. The people were lying on the ground alone, abandoned, whether by the house or by fate. I think there are people who have been without any assistance for 2 hours. I haven't seen more than 3 ambulances an hour later. People who were lying on the ground, burned, alone, abandoned. I mean, wounded, alone, abandoned, lying on the ground. Helpless, they didn't know where to go.
Trigger warning.
On the line who only asked, screaming, crying, to go and help them. Even accompany them. That is, to be present so that above all, they wouldn't lose consciousness. And they didn't let them. They opened the bench, and then we put people there, but people still had no IVs, no hydration system, no blankets. They lacked everything. The worst thing was oxygen. This is what people fear the most here, is that in this bar, there were many modest people. I want to say this. I've heard many media outlets talking about how they were favored people, etc. It's a big lie. There were people from several Lausanne neighborhoods here, including many French temporary workers. There were many people who came just to spend the night here. I know of kids who came with backpacks and bottles of alcohol inside because they can't buy it here because it's too expensive. And they came in with the idea of buying a beer. So there were normal people here, but yes, inside and perhaps in the area that was more in the trap, there were people with more financial means, and I'm convinced that there will be parents who will ask, let's say, for justice, investigate not only the responsibilities in the cases, but also how the children were rescued. With my background in thermodynamics and my understanding of spontaneous combustion, I can say with certainty that the events that took place there are identical to those that take place in a gasoline engine. So a mixture of gases is generated. Combustible gases that are the product of full combustion of the synthetic materials with compressed air through the air conditioning pipes, because next to them, if you notice, there are these burning plates. And next to this large pipe, yes, which is what pushes air out or in. Both have to be out and in, which then generates a renewal of oxygen. So a perfect balanced a mixture of fuel and oxygen is generated, and it needs a spark, and it is seen that there was a lack of oxygen below. That is, that there was not enough oxygen below to reach the perfect mixture, which is called stoichiometric between fuel and oxygen. But when someone opened the window, the exit door, the little extra air that was needed to reach the stoichiometric mixture entered, and it caught fire. And since there is a difference in the level between below and above, there is an effect of pressure difference that generates a flame like in any fireplace. And this is what has happened. So this generates a strong heat from like 800 degrees, exactly like a cylinder of an engine, and a very strong pressure. The surprising thing is that the pressure is not strong enough to break the glass. So it has not been a detonation, it has been a rapid combustion, exactly like inside an engine. In other words, these guys have found themselves inside a combustion engine.
Okay. I don't see many people here, and that's okay. So, I think I'll just let it go at this. And I made some shorts out of that. And yeah, thanks for everyone that was here earlier. It is getting later, isn't it? Everywhere else. I'm in Washington State, so it's pretty, pretty early. And let's see. Turn this on, turn this off. So, yeah, we will. This is my bob that's growing out a little, which is nice. Um, but yeah, hopefully see you tomorrow. I'm gonna talk more about this.
I need the code.
All right, just a second. More about the fire and other things, not just covering all the mainstream. So, love you guys. If you see this, please hit the like and subscribe to me. Thank you.
Mom, it sent a 6-digit code to your phone.